Hello, and welcome to another update video about Solana. Solana is still holding above the red trend line, that previous breakout line that we talked about. The situation is still unchanged, so this is the blue zone where we've been watching for reversal. I mean, it's trying to, okay, some good performance today. Actually, it's trying to break out to the upside in line with the microstructure that we discussed yesterday. So what we will do in a few minutes is take a look at the smaller time frame chart, see if we can identify any setup support levels or trend lines that are relevant. But here on the daily chart, just for anybody who's new on the channel, because new viewers come in every single day. Thanks for that, by the way. Make sure you subscribe, you follow also on the other social media channels. They all provide some value. But because new viewers is coming in, it's important to talk about the context just a little bit. Two scenarios I'm tracking here. These are the only two that I'm really monitoring at the moment, and both are from this area pointing towards higher prices, either in a B wave rally or even in a continuation that would be a yellow wave 5 then. So for me, it's a bit unclear whether we are in the fifth wave up in wave 1 in the yellow scenario, so it's just another high, or whether this is a larger ABC structure, which is then going to form a larger A wave, then we get another B, C, and so on. That's a bit unclear to me, because for now, the counts, both counts are valid. Now, I can tell you what my preference is. The preference is the yellow scenario. And that in the short term, it doesn't matter so much, because in the short term, both are pointing towards higher prices. That's my preference anyway. And then along the way, we don't need to know everything in advance. I know everybody wants certainties, but markets don't offer certainties. So we have to be comfortable. We have to be comfortable with the uncertainty, be comfortable in the unknown. That's where we have to be in financial markets. So I can give you key levels, though, and I can give you areas where the price should ideally reverse. And I think we already start to see that the blue Fibonacci zone is working. All right, it's working. The price is certainly reacting to that blue Fibonacci zone, by the way, which is located between $102.42 and $131.42. So watching that zone, and from there we want a rally to materialize. And if it's a corrective rally, then it's likely the white count. If it's an impulsive rally, it's likely the yellow count. And there's a pivot between the two. Unfortunately, it's not a very clear pivot, because B waves can even overshoot. So someone asked me earlier today, when is the B wave invalidated? The problem is you can't invalidate it. B waves can overshoot significantly. I mean, yeah, you can invalidate it with a break in 5 waves above that last high there, but we will have to deal with that uncertainty for a little while. Looking at the smaller time frame, so basically that means we're looking for continuation to the upside here. That's the idea. Surely on the micro level, we can't rule out another low, but for now, things are starting to look promising. We already saw the upside breakout from our triangle pattern yesterday. And I mentioned to you that I continue to watch for higher prices, especially as long as we're holding above the red line. That was the first video yesterday. This was the $130.30 level. I can remove that now, because that level is not relevant anymore. At least there are other levels now that are relevant. Then in the one of the last updates late yesterday, I communicated here the yellow trend line needs to hold. That would be another key level for risk management, which is holding still. I leave it on the chart for now. I believe it might be relevant still, might be tested once more. Doesn't have to be, but it's just another key level to watch there, which kind of seems to distinguish between bullish and bearish momentum. But then we could even narrow this down a little bit further. We could narrow that down a little bit further. We were watching the Fibonacci support zone micro support between $138.32 and $134.39. And if you are familiar with our guidelines and Elliott wave and so on, then you know that a fourth wave would typically reach the 38.2 retracement level there. Would typically reach. Doesn't have to reach it, but very often. And I think spot on. Yeah, reacted perfectly to that level. 2 touches on the 1 hour chart, and then it took off. So thesis is now that the fifth wave is unfolding. I already communicated that earlier today on Discord. So thesis would be that this fifth wave is unfolding, possibly targeting 154.34 or 158.63. Those would be the next key levels to watch there for the next move up. Yeah? Please note that Circle Wave 3, really from a third wave point of view, Circle Wave 3 should reach the $158.60 level or higher. That also means that this fifth wave would have to be quite extended, so I'm not quite sure if we really get there. But I can tell you that if we break above that level here, 147.54, which is really it's not really an ideal target for the third wave. But if we break above that level, it still is resistance. Yeah, it still is resistance. So if we break above that level, the next one is at 154.34. That's the 123.6 Fibonacci extension. And above that level, we've got that $158.63 level. And normally the first ideal target for a third wave. Yeah, and then another 4-5 pattern would be ideal. Yeah, so that is what I am tracking at the moment on the Solana chart. Please note that if at any point now the market breaks below $134.39, which is Fibonacci support, I would assume that this breakout attempt, or let's rather call it upside reversal attempt, is failing. That's the update about Solana. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, I invite you to join us on X. Feel free to join. Let us know your requests for crypto updates, because here on X we publish additional videos, additional short-term updates, mindset stuff. So yeah, check it out. It's basically a space to communicate with the community. The link is pinned in the comment section, and I wish you a great day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.